Aliens feared humanity until one human soldier changed everything. For many years, unseen eyes watched Earth from the darkness of deep space. They were patient, they were careful, and they were afraid. The alien species called the Rellan Collective observed every detail of human history. They recorded wars. They studied riots. They watched missiles rise into the sky. They saw weapons so powerful they could destroy entire continents. Every time humans fought each other, the Rellan wrote it down. Every time blood was spilled on Earth, the fear inside their council grew. The Rellan did not understand humans. To them, humanity looked wild, unpredictable, dangerous. Far above Earth, in a ship shaped like a silver arrow, Captain Elias Ward stood on the command deck of the starbound Horizon. He was 43 years old, a former soldier, a man who had survived too many battles. For the past decade, he had studied diplomacy, alien languages, alien customs, alien emotions. He understood peace as well as he understood war. That was why he had been chosen. Humanity was getting its first chance to meet the wider galaxy. But nobody was sure if it was truly a meeting or a judgment. Lieutenant Mara Solis sat at the communication station. Quick hands, sharp mind. She monitored every signal in the area. Her calm expression suddenly cracked. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple ships. A lot of them." Elias turned slowly. "How many?" Mara swallowed. "Dozens." A chill went down his spine. He walked closer to the main screen, and when the hologram zoomed out, his stomach twisted. 22 alien warships surrounded the meeting zone, all of them armed. All of them pointed at the human vessel. Commander Rhea Morgan stepped beside him. She had served with Elias in the old military days, someone he trusted more than anyone. She studied the ships with cold eyes. "This isn't a welcome party," she murmured. "This is a trap formation." The meeting point appeared ahead, a massive abandoned ring station floating like a dead crown in space. It was ancient, built by a species long gone. A perfect neutral location, or the perfect place for an execution. Elias gathered his small team. Commander Morgan, Dr. Aaron Malik, the xenobiologist, Sergeant Tessa Rourke, expert in non-lethal security. The airlock opened. They stepped into the alien station and froze. Dozens of beings filled the chamber. Tall creatures with curved spines, short ones covered in scales, others with glowing eyes and shimmering skin. But none looked friendly. They stood in tight formation like soldiers, not diplomats. A Rellan elder moved forward. Its long tendrils formed a shape that Elias recognized from months of study, a hostile posture. The translator crackled. "Captain Elias Ward of Earth," the creature said, "your species has been summoned to answer for its violence." The lights dimmed. A giant screen slid open, and then Earth's darkest memories played. Wars, bombs, burning cities, nuclear fire, soldiers screaming, missiles launched, families running. Every century of human rage shone in brutal flashes. The aliens watched with horror. When the images stopped, the Rellan elder spoke again. "No species in our galaxy holds such a capacity for destruction. You are unstable. You are unpredictable. And now you want to join the stars." Another alien stepped forward, a crystalline being with light glowing inside its body. "We fear what humanity may become," it said. "Therefore the Council has voted to consider containment." Elias felt a cold weight settle in his chest. Containment. It meant imprisonment. Isolation. Earth locked inside its solar system forever. Beside him, Commander Morgan grew tense. But Elias lifted a hand, calm, controlled. He stepped forward slowly. "Honored delegates," he said, voice steady. "Everything you showed is real. We do have a violent past. But that is not all we are." Some aliens tilted their heads, surprised that he didn't deny it. Elias continued. "Humanity is young. We make mistakes, but we learn, and we grow. We have chosen cooperation over destruction more times than history remembers." Silence filled the chamber. Heavy, waiting. Elias took a breath. "But if you fear us, then test us. Don't judge our past. Judge what we can do now." The council chamber rippled with uneasy whispers. And deep inside that ancient station, beneath the watchful eyes of 20 alien warships, humanity's fate balanced on a single choice. A test was coming. A test that would push Captain Elias Ward, and all of humanity, to its limits. 3 days passed after the tense meeting on the ancient station. Captain Elias Ward expected silence. Instead, A sharp alarm echoed through the starbound horizon's bridge. Lieutenant Mara Solis turned in her chair. Captain, incoming transmission from the Relin ambassador. Elias felt his muscles tighten. Put it through. The Relin elder appeared on the screen, its tendrils folded in a strange pattern. Captain Ward, it said with a tone that sounded almost like a challenge. Your test has arrived. Commander Rhea Morgan stepped closer. Here we go, she muttered. The alien continued. A faction calling itself the Solar Reclaimers has seized a major trade outpost, Station Pylon 9. They hold 200 civilians hostage, including envoys from several council species. Elias frowned. What do they want? They demand independence for their colony world, the Relans said. They want council forces removed. Sergeant Tessa Rourke crossed her arms. Classic insurgent behavior. Elias ignored the tension growing around him. What assistance are the council sending? The Relans' answer made his stomach twist. The enforcement fleet is preparing to attack. Their strategy is overwhelming force. Minimal negotiations. Commander Morgan whispered, a slaughter. But, the Relin elder added, you humans claim to value peaceful solutions. The council is giving you a chance. Solve this without violence. Elias understood immediately. If he succeeded, the council would say it wasn't truly dangerous. If he failed, the council would point and declare humanity unfit for the stars. A trap. A perfect trap. But he had no choice. We accept, Elias said. You have 72 hours, the Relin warned. Don't disappoint us. The transmission faded. Arrival at Pylon 9. The starbound horizon raced through space until the massive station came into view, a floating city built around a glowing energy core. Sergeant Rourke reviewed the situation. Captain, the Solar Reclaimers are led by Commander Vorik Dane. Former military. Decorated. Highly disciplined. Dr. Aaron Malik scrolled through files. He lost his home colony after the council forced a relocation. They wanted the land for an industrial mining contract. Elias nodded slowly. So he has real grievances. Real grievances don't justify hostages, Commander Morgan said. True, Elias replied. But desperate people do desperate things. The plan nobody liked. Sergeant Rourke projected a tactical holomap. If we storm the station, we can eliminate them in under 10 minutes. But casualties? She hesitated. At least a dozen. Maybe more. Human hostages. Alien hostages. Innocent people. Elias shook his head. No. Not unless there's no other choice. Morgan stared at him. Elias, these people won't negotiate just because you knock politely. Elias leaned forward. Then we offer them something worth more than their demands. Dr. Malik blinked. And what would that be? A future they can still live in, Elias said quietly. For 6 hours, Elias and Malik shaped a message to Vorik Dane, respectful, honest, and painfully direct about the council's mistakes. When the channel finally opened, Vorik appeared on the screen. Tall, gray-blue skin, scars from old battles. His eyes sharp and alert. Captain Elias Ward, he said. The human who impressed the council by arguing for mercy. I've heard of you. Elias nodded. Commander Dane, I've read your record. You know I'm right? Vorik asked. Elias surprised him. Yes. The council wronged your colony. Their relocation order was unjust. Vorik froze, shocked by the honesty. Then why are you here? To show you that taking hostages destroys the justice of your cause, Elias answered. Release them, and I will stand with you. I will take your case directly to the council. Publicly. So they cannot ignore it. Vorik studied him, searching for lies. And if the council punishes us anyway? Vorik asked. If they crush us as an example? Elias didn't hesitate. Then I stand beside you in front of them. Even Vorik's soldiers shifted uncomfortably, confused by the human's confidence. Commander Morgan stepped into view. Vorik Dane, she said firmly. I served with Captain Ward in wars you've only read about. If he makes a promise, he keeps it. Silence followed. Heavy. Long. Then Vorik exhaled. Captain Ward, I choose to trust you. The screen flickered off. Elias didn't smile. He knew the real challenge was just beginning. The decision was made. Vorik Dane would release the hostages, but only if Captain Elias Ward honored his promise. But promises in the galaxy were fragile things. Inside the starbound horizon, nervous energy filled the bridge. Every officer understood that the wrong move could shatter everything. Commander Rhea Morgan paced slowly. Elias, Are you absolutely sure about walking into Pylon 9 without weapons? Yes, he said. Then you're insane. Sergeant Tessa Rourke appeared with a datapad. Captain, we have confirmation. The enforcement fleet is less than 30 hours away. If Vorik changes his mind, we won't have time to evacuate. Dr. Aaron Malik added. And if we fail, the Council will say this proves humanity is unfit for diplomacy. Elias looked at all of them. He didn't pretend the risks weren't real. Trust requires being the first to step onto thin ice, he said quietly. If we wait for the aliens to make the first move, nothing will change. Mara Solis exhaled. Then we better hope this ice doesn't crack. Walking into the lion's den, the shuttle glided toward Pylon 9 like a small bird approaching a sleeping beast. Lights flickered across the station. Armed figures patrolled the docking ring. The air felt heavy with tension. Elias brought only 2 people with him. Dr. Aaron Malik, the calm voice of reason. Sergeant Tessa Rourke, the best non-lethal operator in the fleet. No rifles. No armored suits. No safety net. As the shuttle doors opened, they stepped into silence. Dozens of solar reclaimer soldiers watched them with cold eyes. Weapons ready. Triggers half-pressed. Vorik Dane approached slowly. Up close, he looked even more imposing. Tall, broad-shouldered, battle-scarred. A man who had seen too many losses. You came unarmed, Vorik said. You asked for trust, Elias replied. I'm giving it. Some of Vorik's soldiers looked away, ashamed. Others looked annoyed, as if humans were too foolish to fear death. Follow me, Vorik said. The hostages. They walked through tight corridors and into a huge chamber where more than 200 hostages sat, frightened traitors, injured diplomats, and small groups of children clinging to each other. Dr. Malik's heart broke at the sight. The Council sees only numbers, Malik whispered. But these are real people. Vorik overheard. And what about my colony? He snapped. They ignored our people for years. Elias didn't flinch. Your suffering is real. Your anger is real. But hurting these civilians won't fix your colony's pain. Vorik stared at him for a long moment. You speak like someone who has lost something. I have, Elias said softly. War takes more than soldiers. Something shifted in Vorik's eyes. A flicker of understanding between 2 men who had seen too many graves. The deal. Vorik led Elias to the command deck of Pylon 9. A massive viewport showed space, dark, endless, and quiet. What are your terms? Vorik asked. Elias placed a small device on the table. A broadcast link. When you release the hostages, I will make a public declaration. I will demand a full inquiry into the Council's colonial policies. Vorik frowned. The Council doesn't listen to humans. They will listen now, Elias said firmly. All eyes are on humanity. Every move we make is being judged. If I publicly support your cause, the Council cannot ignore it. Vorik's voice grew low. If you betray this promise, then I lose everything, Elias finished. And humanity loses its future in the stars. Rourke crossed her arms. So we're all risking our necks today? Vorik stared at her. You came armed with only honesty. Honesty hits harder than bullets, she said. For the first time, Vorik Dane gave a small smile. The release. It took hours. Hostages were guided out in small groups. Medical checks. Identity scans. Safety protocols. Elias made sure every single one walked free without a scratch. But Vorik hesitated at the last group, 5 Council diplomats. If I release them, he said softly, I lose all bargaining power. Elias stepped closer. No, you gain something stronger. You show the galaxy you're better than the Council says you are. Vorik closed his eyes. Then he nodded. The final group walked free. Elias tapped the broadcast device. A signal spread across the galaxy. This is Captain Elias Ward, he said. The crisis at Pylon 9 is over. No one was harmed. And the grievances of the solar reclaimers will be brought before the full Council. The enforcement fleet halted. Millions watched the broadcast. And for the first time, the galaxy wondered if humans might actually be something more than dangerous warriors. They might be leaders. They might be peacemakers. But deep inside Pylon 9, Elias sensed something else. This victory was only the beginning. The real battle was coming. The galaxy held its breath as news spread. No deaths. No violence. No warship intervention. A human captain had resolved a major hostage crisis with nothing but words, courage, and stubborn hope. But the Galactic Council was not impressed. Inside the Grand Council chamber, shaped like a spiraling star, thousands of alien delegates murmured in confusion, frustration, and disbelief. Captain Elias Ward stood alone on the central platform. Commander Rhea Morgan, Dr. Aaron Malik, and Sergeant Tessa Rourke watched from the silent observation area, allowed to observe, forbidden to speak. The Rellan ambassador appeared first. Its tendrils curled in annoyance. "Captain Ward," it said sharply, "you exceeded your authority. You made promises you had no right to make." Elias remained steady. "I saved 200 innocent lives. And you empowered criminals," the ambassador snapped. "You encouraged rebellion." A low growl echoed from across the chamber. The towering Dracorian warrior delegate, armored in silver scale plates, spoke. The human completed his task. The Dracorian rumbled. "No one died. The hostages live. This is strength." The Rellan elder hissed. He disobeyed council protocol. Elias stepped forward. "Protocols are tools," he said calmly. "Tools can be adjusted. Lives cannot be replaced." Several delegates stirred. Some intrigued. Some offended. A luminescent being made of drifting light, one of the Vesari, floated upward. "Human Elias Ward, we watched your broadcast. You showed compassion and restraint. But we must know, did your actions weaken council authority?" Elias answered without hesitation. "They strengthened its credibility. The galaxy saw the council choose caution while a human chose courage. That balances the scale." The statement rippled through the chamber like an electric shock. The accusation. The Rellan elder slammed a tendril against the podium. "You made a public declaration without approval. You aligned yourself with rebels. You forced the council to react." Elias kept his voice steady. "You asked humanity to prove we aren't violent, that we can solve conflict with peace. I did exactly what you requested. A geometric crystalline species, the Kyanth Collective, flashed red edges. You manipulated the situation. Your emotional logic is flawed." Elias looked directly at them. "Emotion isn't a flaw. It's a warning system. It tells us when something is wrong. It tells us when someone is suffering." Dr. Malik whispered from the stands. "He's pushing hard." Sergeant Rourke smirked. "He always pushes hard." Commander Morgan crossed her arms. "He's playing with fire." Vorik Dane's moment. Suddenly, an unexpected voice echoed from the side chamber. "I would like to speak." It was Vorik Dane. He was escorted by guards, but not chained. His posture was strong, not defiant. He stood on a secondary platform, facing the council. "You call me a criminal," Vorik said, his deep voice steady. "Maybe I am, but I did not attack anyone. I harmed no civilians. I released every hostage." Some delegates muttered in disagreement. Vorik raised his hand. "You want to know why I trusted Captain Ward?" he asked. "Because he did something your council hasn't done in decades." He listened. That made the entire chamber fall silent. Vorik continued. "You ignored my colony's pleas. You dismissed our petitions. You forced my people from our homes for a mining company's profit. These are facts. Your own records confirm it." Elias watched the reactions. Some delegates looked ashamed. Others angry. Others simply cold. Vorik pointed at Elias. "This human didn't promise us victory. He promised us a hearing. A voice. A small piece of respect. And he kept that promise." The chamber erupted into mixed shouting. Elias' final gambit. The council demanded order. Lights dimmed. The Rellan elder turned to Elias. "What do you propose, Captain Ward? What should we do with Commander Vorik and his followers?" Elias inhaled slowly. "I propose something new," he said. "Something constructive." A giant display lit up with a holographic plan. "Create a colonial rights review commission," he said. "A council-backed committee to investigate colonial grievances, led by neutral species, assisted by those who understand the issues firsthand." The Dracorian warrior nodded slowly. "This is wise." The Kyanth flashed uncertain colors. The Vesari drifted in thought. The Rellan elder hissed. "You suggest rewarding terrorists?" "No," Elias answered firmly. "I suggest transforming a crisis into progress." He pointed toward the gallery of citizens watching the hearing. "You want humanity to be peaceful. Show us that peace is actually possible." Silence returned, heavy and thoughtful. This was the moment that would decide everything. The decision. The council chamber dimmed. Votes flashed across thousands of holographic panels. Yes. No. Abstain. The numbers climbed. Shifted. Balanced. Two different futures formed in the air. Elias' heart pounded. Commander Morgan clenched her fists. Dr. Malik whispered a prayer. Rourke stared without blinking. Finally, the vote locked. 847 in favor. 652 against. 231 abstained. The Colonial Rights Review Commission was approved. Vorik Dane would serve supervised community service, not imprisonment. Elias Ward had won. But as the lights brightened, the Rellan ambassador leaned in close and whispered through narrowed tendrils. Human, your victory today makes you dangerous. Elias looked the alien in the eyes. Only to those who fear change. The celebration after the council vote lasted less than 3 hours. Then the emergency alarm ripped through the starbound horizon. Red lights flashed. The deck trembled. Lieutenant Mara Solis shouted over the noise. Captain, priority distress call from Halcyon Reach. Elias spun toward her. Put it through. Static exploded across the main screen. Then a broken voice emerged, ragged, panicked, terrified. Containment, failing, spreading too fast. We can't, losing people, every hour. The signal cut off. The bridge fell silent. Commander Rhea Morgan leaned forward. Halcyon Reach, that's a research colony, right? Dr. Aaron Malik answered quietly. Not just research. They specialize in high-risk pathogens. Experimental viruses. Dangerous medicines. If something breaks out there. Sergeant Tessa Rourke finished the sentence. Entire systems could die. Elias felt a cold pressure tighten around his ribs. Any response from the council? He asked. Mara checked the channels. Her face went pale. Yes, sir. They've already activated standard quarantine protocol. The words hit the room like a hammer. Commander Morgan cursed under her breath. They're sealing the entire system. Dr. Malik rubbed his forehead. That means no ships in or out for 6 months. Maybe a year. However long it takes for the outbreak to burn out. Rourke slammed her fist into the console. Burnout means thousands dead. Mara added, voice trembling. Captain, Halcyon Reach has almost 4,000 personnel. Elias closed his eyes for a moment. For 1,000 lives. For 1,000 chances to do the right thing. For 1,000 souls trapped with a plague no one understood. When he opened his eyes, the decision was already made. Set course for Halcyon Reach, Elias said. Commander Morgan grabbed his arm. Elias, if we interfere, the council will say we're violating quarantine law. I know, he replied. They'll end humanity's trial. We'll lose everything we worked for. I know. Rourke stepped closer. Then why risk it? Elias looked at them. All of them. His family in the stars. Because the council wants us to prove we value life more than violence, he said quietly. If we abandon 4,000 people because a rule tells us to, then we've already failed. Dr. Malik nodded, eyes burning. Then let's save them. Mara whispered. Max speed plotted. A race against time. The starbound horizon tore through space. Stars blurred. Engines roared. Time until quarantine net activation, 20 hours. Time to reach Halcyon Reach, 15 hours, 30 minutes. They would make it. Barely. Rourke prepared emergency gear. Bioseals. Air filtration packs. Decontamination pods. Malik compiled data. I need schematics of the colony. If the outbreak mutated, containment breaches could be everywhere. Commander Morgan monitored council channels. They're tracking us. And they're angry. Elias didn't flinch. Let them be angry. They're not the ones dying. The dying colony. When the starbound horizon arrived, the sight punched everyone in the gut. Halcyon Reach floated above a burning orange gas giant, normally a symbol of science and progress. Now it looked like a tomb. Life sign scans flickered across the hollow table. Mara whispered the result. Captain, more than 1,000 people are already dead. Elias felt the room freeze around him. Dr. Malik's voice shook. Some outbreaks accelerate. If this is airborne. It is, a voice interrupted. The screen flickered on, showing the colony's medical director. Dr. Lysander Voss, a pale-skinned alien with glowing bioluminescent veins. He looked exhausted. Hollow-eyed. Barely conscious. Captain Ward, thank you for responding, he said. We're losing people every hour. A containment virus merged with another strain. It became something new. Something airborne. Dr. Malik asked urgently, do you have a cure? Yes, Voss whispered. But it requires slow-dose treatment. Carefully controlled. Weeks of monitoring. We don't have the staff. We don't have the pods. We don't have time. Rourke stepped forward. If we evacuate the infected to isolation wards. That would work, Dr. Voss said. But the Council's quarantine net will seal this system in less than 5 hours. If anyone leaves after that, they'll be destroyed. Elias exchanged looks with his crew. A terrible choice. A choice no one should have to make. Commander Morgan whispered, "If we evacuate them, we lose the Council trial. Humanity gets locked out of the galaxy forever." Dr. Malik countered, "If we leave them, 3,000 people die." Rourke stared Elias dead in the eyes. "Captain, what's the order?" Elias Ward stepped forward, spine straight, eyes burning with human defiance. "We go in," he said. Every head snapped toward him. "We save everyone we can," Elias continued. "And we do it before the quarantine net closes. If we risk our future, so be it. But we will not stand by while people die." No one argued, because they all felt it too. This was the moment humanity would show the galaxy who they truly were. Not warriors, not monsters, not a threat, but beings who would walk into hell to pull others out. The star-bound horizon plunged toward Halcyon Reach like a spear cutting through the darkness. Every second mattered. Every mistake meant death. On approach, Elias Ward stood at the center of the bridge, jaw locked tight. "Status," he ordered. Mara Solis replied instantly. "Quarantine net activation in 4 hours, 12 minutes." Commander Morgan added, "If we're still inside the system after that, we're trapped. If we try to leave, the automated platforms will vaporize us." Sergeant Rourke cracked her knuckles. "So we do it fast. No room for fear." Dr. Malik adjusted his mask. "Fear is fine. Panic is not." Elias nodded. "We begin now." The first breach. Shuttles launched in rapid rotation, 3 at a time, flying toward the research colony's wounded structure. Inside the shuttle, Elias felt the hum of tension. Rourke double-checked protective seals. Malik loaded treatment kits. The air tasted like metal and fear. The colony's docking bay doors creaked open just long enough for them to slip inside. Then the smell hit them, sterile chemicals mixed with something sharp and unnatural. A disease born from desperation. Lights flickered overhead. Bodies lay covered in emergency shrouds. Surviving personnel stumbled toward the team, exhausted and afraid. Dr. Lysander Voss appeared, leaning on a support beam. "You came," he whispered. "I wasn't sure anyone would." "Show us where we're needed," Elias replied. Voss guided them deeper into the colony, through corridors filled with coughing workers, pale faces, trembling hands. Rourke's voice tightened. If the Council could see this, they wouldn't hesitate. They'd send help. "No," Elias said quietly. "If they saw this, they'd seal the doors faster." Working in hell. The outbreak center was chaos. Rows of beds filled the massive hall. Medical pods flashed red warnings. The sound of labored breathing echoed like a grim heartbeat. Dr. Malik took command. "Quarantine lanes here. Keep the worst cases separated. Voss, give me your treatment schedule." Malik's calm authority steadied the room. Rourke coordinated the transport teams. "Pod ready. Move them gently. No breaches." Every patient had to be lifted, sealed, disinfected, coated, and transferred to a shuttle, all without letting a single virus particle escape. One breach would doom multiple star systems. Elias helped carry pods. Again and again. Sweat. Shaking arms. Burning lungs. But he didn't stop. None of them did. The clock keeps ticking. Back on the horizon, Mara monitored both the evacuation and the Council's warnings. "Captain," she said through the comms, voice tight. "The Rellan ambassador is demanding you withdraw. They say continuing this operation violates galactic law." Elias, carrying another sealed pod, growled, "Tell them they're welcome to help. Otherwise, they can stay quiet." Commander Morgan cut in. "The Council won't forgive this, Elias." "Lives first," he replied. "Politics later." The first fallen crew member. 3 hours in, disaster struck. A junior medical technician, Ensign Talia Reeve, stumbled while carrying a treatment pack. She gasped, pressed a hand to her mask, and collapsed. Malik rushed over. Her seal failed. "She's inhaled the pathogen." Rourke swore under her breath. "Get her to a pod." But Reeve pushed them away weakly. No time. Don't risk the others. I'll slow you down." Elias knelt beside her. "We don't leave our own." Reeve gave a faint smile. "Humanity needed to show compassion, right? So let me do my part." Her breathing slowed. Seconds later, she was gone. Malik clenched his fists. Rourke wiped her eyes. Morgan's voice cracked through the calm. "Elias, We don't have time to grieve. I know, he whispered. She knew too. Then he stood and kept working, because that's what humans do. The final run. Captain, Mara shouted. Quarantine net activating in 9 minutes. Elias tightened his mask. We have one final load. Move. Dr. Malik yelled orders. Last 10 patients, secure them. Seal every pod twice. No risks. Rourke led the final escort. Go. Move like hell itself is behind us. Elias grabbed the last pod, a Luminar child barely conscious, and carried it toward the shuttle bay. Overhead, alarms blared. Quarantine system online in 7 minutes. They sprinted. 6 minutes. Elias' legs burned. The pod felt like a boulder. 5 minutes. A corridor collapsed behind them, sparks flying. For minutes. Shuttle doors opened. Rourke yelled, "Get in." 3 minutes. Elias shoved the final pod aboard. 2 minutes. The shuttle blasted off. 1 minute. The starbound horizon caught them in its hangar. Mara, Elias shouted. Punch it. The engines roared. 0:32 seconds. The quarantine net began ignition. 0:10 seconds. The ship hit maximum thrust. 0:04 seconds. The hull rattled. Sparks flew. Everyone braced. 0:01 second. The starbound horizon broke through the system border, just as the quarantine net snapped shut behind them like a cosmic bear trap. They made it. They saved them. But the Council would not celebrate. This was war in their eyes. The starbound horizon drifted into Council space with 3,000 survivors in its medical bays, and a death sentence waiting in the chamber ahead. Every crew member felt it. The moment they landed, armed guards surrounded the ship. Not hostile, procedural, but tense enough to make the air taste metallic. Commander Rhea Morgan whispered as they stepped onto the Council ramp. This is it, Elias. Whatever they decide, our lives change today. Sergeant Rourke cracked her neck. Hope they at least let us keep the ship. Dr. Malik forced a small smile. If they strip our titles, I'm opening a clinic somewhere remote. Elias Ward didn't smile. He simply walked forward. Because the only way out was through the chamber of consequences. The Council chamber was louder than ever. Some delegates shouted angrily. Some demanded punishment. Some demanded Elias' immediate arrest. Others argued fiercely that humanity had saved thousands and proven something rare in the galaxy. The Rellan ambassador slammed the floor with a tendril. Captain Ward, step forward. You stand accused of violating quarantine law, of risking interstellar plague, of ignoring direct Council commands. Do you deny these charges? Elias spoke with calm strength. I do not. Gasps. A wave of whispers. The Rellan continued. Then what defense can you possibly offer? But Elias didn't speak. Someone else did. A soft pulse of light glowed beside him. Dr. Lysander Voss, now healthy, alive, and standing on his own, stepped forward. Honored Council, Voss said, I am Chief Medical Director of Halcyon Reach. I am the one responsible for the containment failure. The Rellan snapped. Your negligence is not on trial. Voss cut them off with a rare flash of emotion. No, but it should be. I followed every rule your codes demanded. And still the outbreak mutated. Still 1,000 died before Captain Ward arrived. Silence washed over the chamber. Voss' voice shook as he continued. If he had obeyed your commands, 3,000 more would be dead. The crystalline Vesari delegate floated upward. But the risk was calculated, Voss said firmly. Captain Ward followed containment perfectly. His methods were flawless. No pathogen escaped. I reviewed the logs myself. I owe my life to this crew. Murmurs spread. Support growing. But the Rellan were not finished. The Council's fear. You humans act on emotion, the Rellan elder said coldly. You break rules when your hearts say so. That makes you dangerous. Elias stepped forward at last. Dangerous? Maybe. His voice resonated through the hall. But rules without compassion create monsters. And fear without understanding creates prisons. A Dracorian warrior rose, voice like thunder. The human speaks truth. A Kyanth crystalline delegate flickered uncertainly. Yet breaking quarantine could have doomed us all. Elias nodded. If we had failed, yes. But we didn't. Because we worked harder than any rule required. We risked ourselves to protect others. He looked around at thousands of alien eyes. You fear us because of our past. But today, you saw our present. A long silence followed. Even the ancient Vesari Luminarch dimmed slightly, considering his words. Then a vibration rippled through the chamber. A booming voice, like mountains grinding together, echoed. "Let the archives speak." Gasps filled the hall. The Eternal Keeper, an ancient stone-like titan who had watched civilizations rise and fall for millions of years, rose from its seat. "All young species walk unstable paths," the Keeper said. "Some destroy themselves. Some stagnate. A rare few rise above their fear." It looked down at Elias. Humanity is young, reckless, imperfect, but they are learning empathy faster than most. And today they demonstrated the rarest trait of all: a pause, courage without cruelty. The Keeper's words shook the entire hall. "That," it said, "is not a danger. That is a gift." Lights dimmed as delegates cast their verdict. Elias' heart hammered once, twice, then froze as the numbers formed. Yes, 1,144. No, 817. Abstain, 312. A majority. Humanity's trial continued. They were not exiled, not condemned, not caged in their home system. They had earned another chance. The Rellan ambassador's tendrils curled in disbelief. "You humans are unpredictable." Elias smiled faintly. "We try." The moment after, as the hall emptied, survivors from Halcyon Reach approached Elias. Hundreds of species, different shapes, sizes, voices. One young Luminar child, the last patient Elias carried, stepped forward and placed its glowing hand on his. "Thank you, human." Its voice was soft, musical. "My people live because of you." Elias swallowed hard. Commander Morgan whispered behind him, "You changed the galaxy today." Rourke smirked, or at least scared it a little. Dr. Malik laughed softly. "Maybe both." Elias exhaled. "Then let's keep going," he said. This was just one test. He looked at the stars beyond the chamber doors. Humanity hasn't shown them everything yet.